Hi, back again. Okay, in the last video we spoke about our belief systems and how we look at the world, and it's based upon our lens, the lens that we see life through. And I use the glasses, right? To show that we each see life and situation and circumstances differently based upon our individual lens. And when we recognize that, and we challenge our beliefs and we don't judge, right? I spoke about non-judgment, not judging ourselves, not judging others, because we really don't know what someone has been through and what their experience is. So it's healthier for everyone involved to sit in a place of non-judgment, right? So now, in addition to that, another key piece to healing is radical acceptance. And what radical acceptance is accepting everything as it is, right? No matter what it is, just accepting it. And it's radical because obviously we put conditions on acceptance, right? We put conditions on so many things, right? And a big part of freedom and healing is to not put conditions on things, right? To not judge, to just accept what is, to not resist what is. That goes hand in hand, right, with the radical acceptance. So that's been coming up for me a lot lately with, having a health condition. And this health condition, diabetes, poses a lot of issues in my life. Like I try to intermittent fast and not, eat up till 3 o'clock, then not eat until the next day, right, midday, and then my sugar will go low and wake me up when I'm sleeping, and then I get upset, and then I have to eat something, and then I go back to sleep, and it beeps again, and then it's a whole sordid thing that people that don't have diabetes probably wouldn't even understand. But anyway, the reason I bring that up is because to a large degree, as it's an example for me, to a large degree, I resist it. I resist, and it makes me angry, actually. So it's still a piece that I have to work on, right? That I resist. It's upsetting, right? I have a resistance to what is, instead of just accepting, listen, this is what you have, which obviously I know I've had it for a long time. And there's going to be times when you have low blood sugar, and there's going to be times when you have high blood sugar, and you can't control it. And people that, think it's something that, just, don't eat cake or whatever, and you can, it'll be better, and you eat too much cake type of thing. And that really has nothing to do with it, really, because in truth, drinking makes your sugar go up. Chewing makes your sugar go up. Chewing food, digesting it, makes your sugar go up. Taking a shower makes your sugar go up. So it's part of the body. Part of the human body needs carbohydrates. Our brain needs carbohydrates to function. So if you're low on carbohydrates because you're cutting back on them, because you're trying to, lose weight and balance the whole thing, your body resists too, because you need carbohydrates to function. You need carbohydrates in your body to do a mathematical equation. 1 + 1 = 2. Well, if your sugar gets really low, you couldn't do math if you wanted to. At least that's been my experience. So the point becomes, and the reason I bring that up, it sounds like I'm complaining, but it is one of my hurdles that I have to get over. But the point becomes is I am resisting, right? I am resisting what is. And when we resist what is, we just cause ourselves a lot of, frustration, hurt, whatever it is, right? We cause ourselves that suffering, if you will. So when we can view things in our lives and in our experiences and just accept them 100% as they are, as we're free, right? There's such a freedom that comes with just accepting what is and letting go. And part of that process is faith, right? When we let go and we trust that there's something bigger than ourselves, God, universe, angels, higher power, whatever you believe, right? Whatever it is that you believe that's bigger than yourself. And we trust in that there's a divine plan, a divine purpose for everything that happens. And we let go and trust that process. We're free. We're free. There's less resistance. There's less stress, right? It is one of the keys to healing, right? And working through very difficult experiences. And a way to identify that, if you're resisting or not, is if you had something happen in your past many years ago, and you've worked, you've gone through all the emotions, right? And you've processed it. If you're still going back there, and if you're still bringing it up and bringing it into today and this moment, you haven't accepted it, right? And you've resisted. So there's more work to be done, right? In that area, my opinion. And a lot of it has to do with, it's very multifaceted, right? Because we want to radically accept, we want to not judge, right? And we want to let things go and trust and have a belief in something bigger than ourselves. All those things are really key to healing from whatever it is that we've experienced. And when we can do those things and heal from those experiences, we can get to a place of centeredness. That's the goal, I believe. We get to a place of centeredness where, our chakras are balanced, our emotions are in check. We are not the victim of our circumstances. We have the power to control how we respond to circumstances and people, right? These are all the good things that come from working through past experiences that we've had, right? Also, part of that process is forgiveness, right? Forgiveness is huge. Forgiving ourselves for the part that we played in anything that might have happened that was painful or hurtful for us, and forgiving others who may have hurt or harmed us in some way. We're all human, we're all fallible, we all make mistakes, and when we can just forgive, we set ourselves free. Forgiveness is freedom as well. It is hard though. I think it's harder to forgive myself than it is to forgive others. I can forgive others more easily for some reason, but it's very hard to forgive myself, right? It takes a lot of work to see yourself as, and to recognize that we're all divine sparks of love and light, universal love and light, and we're perfect and pure exactly as we are. We were created that way. And knowing that we are seen through the lens of love and that we are forgiven. I believe we're forgiven the minute we create a trespass, if you will, if that's how we can label it. I believe we're forgiven immediately. Now, do we forgive ourselves? That's a whole different all the wax, right? It's harder to forgive ourselves, especially if what we've done lingers on in life, right? Like if we do something that just happens and we go, oh, probably shouldn't have done that, and then we forgive ourselves and there's no consequences, that's a lot easier, right? It's a lot harder to forgive ourselves for what we've done when there are consequences, like life-changing consequences. That's a lot harder to do. But when we can forgive ourselves for what we did, because at the time we were working off a particular set of wisdom and knowledge that we had at the time, or we made the decisions based out of fear, right? Or some type of pain, right? We just did what we thought we had to do at the time. So, and if we can look at others from that same lens, I believe that we could all live a lighter, freer, more compassionate and centered life, right? And when we're in judgment, in our ego, in blame, shame, for shamed of ourselves or shaming others, right? All those things are lower vibrational emotions, and it pulls us down, right? It hampers our expansion and our growth and our healing when we're in lower energy vibration emotions, right? When we live from a place of love at the higher vibration and peace and joy and hope, it's a higher vibration. We can, we're not as affected, I could say. We're not as affected by the lower energy vibrational emotions from others, right? We're not resonating on that same level, so we can move past it quicker. That's one of the benefits of healing and working through various experiences, because then when we have self-mastery and we're centered in our emotions and our chakras are balanced, we don't linger in lower energy vibrational emotions and situations. We might go there, right? Because nobody's perfect, right? We might go there, but we can resolve it quicker, right? We don't stay there. We don't stay in those emotions and those experiences, and then we can move on quicker, right? Those are a lot of the benefits of healing and recognizing and being aware of what we think and what we feel, and being knowledgeable and educated on how our thoughts create our feelings and how we can master those feelings and master our thoughts. So we end up mastering our experiences in life. We don't control the experiences, obviously. Control is an ego based experience. What we're referring to here is that we can basically float, might not be the right word, but we can resolve issues and kind of flow with the experiences that come to us when we're in that place, right? It's not going to knock us off balance necessarily. We can just flow with the experiences because we have mastered our emotions. We're healed, we're centered, we're balanced, and we're proactive, not reactive, right? The ego is a reactive condition in life, if you will. It's not a condition necessarily. It's part of ourselves, right? When we live in our ego and we're worried about me, and what's in it for me, and how can I get this and how can I get that, and it's just a me existence. That's really an ego-based process, and it brings a lot of misery for a lot of people. I mean, it can bring things to a lot of people, get in their ego and then they're competitive, right? and then they think, oh, I won, you know, as sports or some game or something. Oh, I won, you know, and that's an ego-based thing. I win, you lose, right? I'm sorry, my lighting was changing. The sun's coming in and changing. Sorry about that. But anyway, that's an ego-based thing, that I win, and because I win, you lose. Me, you, me. That ego-based thing. That might be a temporary, fleeting experience for someone to say I won, and maybe they hold a trophy up or something. Ooh, it's a piece of metal, right? I won. But do you really win when you're in your ego and you have to win and someone has to lose for you to feel better about yourself and your situation, your circumstances? If that's the case, then you're not evolved or elevated in your emotional expression, right? You're operating in a lower vibrational emotional experience. So we all do it. We've all been there. Nobody stays there, right? And as we move through life, we've all had experiences where we're compared to someone else, and who's right, who's wrong, who's better, whose score was higher, you know, whose score. And these are all things that we as human beings create to define whether we're okay or not, right? Well, I'm only okay if I get this grade, or I'm only okay if that person likes me. I'm only okay if all these external conditions are met, then I'm okay. And a lot of healing revolves around, I'm not competing. I'm not here to compete, and I'm not defined by an external parameter that someone else set as a test, as an example. If I get this grade, then, you know, I'm all good, and if I don't, then I'm not. This is about just knowing and accepting. You can consider it a radical acceptance too, but accepting that we are divine and perfectly perfect the minute we're born. We're miracles. We're miracles being born into this human experience, and we have everything we need the minute we get here. And we are guided on our whole journey, right, to get through what we have to get through, what our soul's purpose and lessons are in this experience, right, in this human experience. And when we can just let go and have faith in something bigger than ourselves, and know that we're provided for every step of the way, and we have non-resistance to what is, and we are in the flow, that's gold right there. That's gold. And if you practice some of these things that I'm speaking to in your everyday life, and you do it repetitively, you can get to the point where you're in that place. Of course, there's a lot more to it. I'm just like touching the surface on a lot of these things, but just to give you an idea and an awareness of what's possible, right? So I guess I'll end it there. We'll